On our 5th anniversary, my husband gave me divorce papers his parents had drafted. This protects the family assets. You'll be fine. You have nowhere else to go anyway. His sister whispered, You should thank us for not kicking you out. I stared at the cake they made. It had only his name on it. I didn't sign the papers. But I did sign something else that will shatter their plans in exactly 48 hours. It was supposed to be a quiet dinner. Just the two of us, or so I thought. I wore the dress he used to say he liked.
Blue.
Simple. The one I'd worn on our 1st anniversary. Back then, he looked at me like I was the best thing that had ever happened to him. Back then, he held my hand during dinner. He asked about my day, my dreams. This time, when I walked into the dining room of his parents' house, everything felt wrong. There were no flowers. No soft music. His parents were seated at the table, dressed like this was just another formal dinner. His sister sat on the side, scrolling through her phone, barely looking up when I entered. He stood near the head of the table, not smiling, not even pretending. I opened my mouth to ask what was going on, but then he handed me a folder. Thick, heavy, the kind you can feel before you even open it. He didn't say happy anniversary. He didn't hug me. He just said, This is for you. I opened it with shaking hands. Divorce papers. I couldn't breathe for a moment. I looked up at him. He didn't flinch. His expression was calm, like this was routine, like he was doing me a favor.
His voice was quiet.
These were drafted by my parents' attorney. It protects the family's assets. The family's assets. Not ours. Not his and mine. Theirs. Then he added, You'll be fine. You have nowhere else to go anyway. His sister laughed. Not loud. Just a dry little sound, like she couldn't believe I didn't see it coming. She leaned in close enough for only me to hear and whispered, You should thank us for not kicking you out. The worst part? I didn't even react. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just looked at the cake sitting on the table. 5 layers, white frosting, gold decorations. It looked like something out of a wedding magazine. Only his name was written on it. Just Adam. I stared at it too long. Long enough for his mother to say, We thought we'd keep it simple. I sat down, because I didn't trust my legs to hold me. I should have seen this coming. There were signs. Too many signs, if I'm being honest. The sudden business trips. The way his phone never left his hand. The way his mother started coming over more, watching what I cooked, what I cleaned, what I wore. But I wanted to believe the best. I wanted to believe love was enough. It wasn't. What they didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I had already started protecting myself. A few months ago, I found a receipt in our joint account for a hotel I'd never heard of. He said it was for a client. That was the first lie I knew was a lie. I didn't say anything. I just started paying attention. Every late night, every hushed phone call, every time he looked at me with empty eyes, I kept track. I took screenshots. I forwarded emails. I printed statements. I made copies. And I reached out to someone, a woman I'd met once at a friend's gathering. She had gone through something worse and survived. She gave me the name of a lawyer. Quiet. Private. One of those people who doesn't need a website because word of mouth is enough. She specializes in forensic audits, asset tracing, divorce strategy. 3 weeks before our anniversary, I signed a legal affidavit and gave her access to everything. She found accounts in his father's name, but funded by money that had passed through our joint account. She found a trust set up under his sister's name, but tied to a property we had toured together, the one he said we couldn't afford. It was all there. And now, as they sat around me, smug and sure, they had no idea what was already in motion. I didn't sign their papers. I closed the folder gently, put it down on the table, and looked at each of them one by one. No one said anything. They expected me to cry, to beg, maybe ask for more time. That's what they were waiting for. But I just said, not today. And I left. I didn't go back to our house. I went to a small apartment across town.
Bara Wolves.
A twin bed. 1 window. But it was mine. Paid for in full, 6 months' rent from an account I'd been quietly building with my own freelance work. No one knew I even had a separate bank account. They never asked how I spent my time. They thought I was just a wife, quiet, harmless, dependent. But in 48 hours, the court order will land on their lawyer's desk. Every asset under investigation. Every transfer frozen. Every dirty, little secret exposed. I don't know what will happen after that. But I know this. I won't be the one left broken. The call came at 9:03 a.m. I was sitting on the floor of my new apartment, legs crossed, holding a cup of coffee that had long gone cold. I didn't answer at first. I let it ring. Then it rang again. And again.
Adam.
I picked up on the fourth try. His voice was sharp. What did you do? No hello, no how are you, no trace of the man who used to whisper goodnight. I didn't answer. You froze the accounts.
My business account.
My parents' real estate trust. Even Lauren's college fund. What the hell are you trying to prove? Lauren, his sister. The one who told me to be grateful. I almost laughed. Instead, I said, you should talk to your lawyer. He went quiet for a moment, and then I heard it, the panic underneath his anger, the cracks in his voice. You blindsided us. My parents are furious. You can't just, I didn't do anything illegal. I cut in. My voice was flat.
Calm.
You did. He cursed under his breath and hung up. 10 minutes later, my lawyer called. Her voice was steady, professional. She told me the court had accepted the injunction. All financial movements tied to Adam, his parents, or their holdings were frozen pending the investigation. Every single asset they'd tried to move out of reach was now being examined. They'll try to negotiate, she said. Don't respond directly. Let them come to us. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. By noon, my inbox was full. 3 missed calls from Adam. 1 voicemail from his mother, accusing me of destroying the legacy they'd built. And a text from his sister that simply said, hope you're happy. You've ruined everything. I didn't reply. That night there was a knock at my door. I didn't expect anyone. When I opened it, I found him standing there.
Adam.
He looked different. Less put together. Notie. His shirt was wrinkled, half untucked. His hair looked like he'd run his fingers through it too many times. He didn't ask to come in. He just stepped forward, like he still had the right. You really want to tear us apart like this? He said. I said nothing. We could have handled this quietly, without dragging my family through the mud. I stared at him. You tried to erase me. He laughed. Bitter. We gave you a good life. Everything you have came from us. You mean everything you thought I'd be too scared to lose? He didn't deny it. Then he tried a different tone.
Softer.
Almost gentle. We can still fix this. I'll sign over property.
Give you a settlement.
Just drop the audit. This doesn't have to get uglier. I could hear the fear behind the offer. Not guilt. Not remorse. Just fear. Of exposure, of consequences. He never once said I'm sorry. I'm not dropping anything, I said. He looked at me like I was a stranger. You're not who I thought you were. I stepped back and closed the door without another word. He didn't knock again. The next morning, the lawyer emailed me a list of hidden transfers they uncovered. One of them traced to an offshore account tied to his father's name, using money taken from a joint investment Adam and I had opened together in our 2nd year of marriage. The one I thought we were saving for a house. They stole from me before they handed me those papers. This wasn't just betrayal. This was planned. And now people were starting to notice. One of Adam's business partners reached out. Said there were rumors going around about a pending investigation, and clients were getting nervous. Another text from his sister. You need to stop this before you ruin all of us. But I wasn't the one who started it. They made their moves in silence. I'm just shining a light on them. Let them eat their cake. 3 days later, I got a call from a blocked number. I didn't plan to answer, but something in my gut told me to pick up. It was her. Adam's ex. Her voice was quiet, like she was checking if she'd regret this. I heard what's happening. I thought, maybe you'd want to know something. I didn't speak. I just waited. She continued. It wasn't just the offshore money. There's another account. In your name. But you never opened it, did you? I felt my body freeze. She told me to check a bank in Arizona. The same one Adam once told me was where his uncle had a cabin. A place I never saw, but he visited often. They used your signature. Fake paperwork. Moved money through it to make it look like you were the one hiding funds. If the audit hadn't happened, you'd be the one under investigation. Then she hung up. I stood there for a long time, phone still in my hand. I called my lawyer. She checked it out. The account existed. Under my name. The balance was over $600,000. A setup. That evening my lawyer contacted the court. She added a fraud complaint, identity theft. That changed everything. Now, it wasn't just about hiding money. It was about framing me. Adam had tried to bury me financially and legally. That same night, I got an email. Not from him. From his cousin, someone I'd only met twice. Quiet guy, worked in finance. Subject line. You didn't deserve this. He said he left the family business years ago after he found out what Adam's father had done to another partner. Forged documents, shifted losses onto someone else. That partner had a nervous breakdown. No charges were ever filed. He said, I have copies. I kept them. I didn't do anything before, but I will now. He attached 3 files. Emails, signed letters, ledger edits. One of the names matched something my lawyer had flagged earlier. An account that Adam's mother said was a family loan fund. Now, we knew it was something else. The next day, Adam's father's name came up in a formal court summons. The audit had reached the board of trustees for the family's business. They weren't happy. One of the board members, a distant uncle, called me. He apologized. He told me, you weren't supposed to find out, but it's gone too far. The board froze Adam's access to their business funds. Internal audit. External legal counsel. Everything unraveling. That night, Adam texted. We need to talk. I didn't know my dad was going to use your name.
I didn't sign off on that.
But I knew his handwriting. I had proof. He had signed off. I'd already sent it to my lawyer. I didn't reply. That same night, I got an alert on my phone. A new file had been uploaded to our shared cloud account. One Adam forgot I still had access to.
It was an old video.
I almost deleted it, thinking it was a mistake. But I opened it. It was a recording of a conversation. A private one. Between Adam, his father, and his mother. The day before our 5th anniversary dinner. His father's voice. She signs, we're clear. No split assets. The audit risk ends. Adam's voice. And if she doesn't? His mother. Then we push her. Remind her she is nothing. She'll fold. Then silence. Then his sister's voice. We can use the fake account if she resists. I stared at the screen, shaking. They planned it. Together. All of them. And now I had it recorded. The video changed everything. My lawyer sent it to the court. Then to the Financial Crimes Unit. Then to the Board of Trustees for Adam's family's company. It spread like a crack through glass.
Fast.
Quiet at first. Then loud. The board called an emergency meeting. Adam's father was asked to step down. Not politely. Not with thanks. He was escorted out by security. His access revoked. His name stripped off the company letterhead. His mother tried to spin it, claimed it was just talk. That it was never meant to go that far. But the video was too clear.
Her voice was calm. Cold.
She wasn't panicked.
She was planning.
The court ordered a full criminal investigation. Identity theft.
Fraud.
Conspiracy. The fake account in my name? They traced the signature back to an employee in the family office, someone Adam's mother had used before. That employee was arrested. Adam was subpoenaed. His lawyer tried to make a deal. If he cooperated, maybe he'd avoid jail. But the judge had seen the tape. You weren't just silent, she said. You were part of it. Then came the divorce hearing. I didn't wear anything fancy. Just a plain black dress. Hair tied back.
No makeup.
I wanted the court to see me as I was. Not broken, but clear.
Clean.
Tired, yes. but strong. Adam looked small across the courtroom. He kept looking down. Couldn't meet my eyes. His lawyer tried to claim emotional strain, that the situation was a misunderstanding. My lawyer brought out everything. The transfers, the forged documents, the video, the bank account, the lies. And when the judge finally spoke, her voice was steady. You were willing to destroy her to save yourselves. You used her name. You tried to steal her future. This isn't a misunderstanding. This is a planned betrayal. She granted me the full share of marital assets. Half of everything, including what they tried to hide. But it didn't stop there. Because of the fraud and attempted framing, I was awarded damages. Real ones. I walked out of that courtroom with ownership over 2 properties. One was the apartment they used to laugh at me for dreaming about. The other was the vacation house they tried to hide under Lauren's name. They also had to cover all my legal fees. Every last dollar. Adam's company collapsed. Investors pulled out once the fraud hit the news. His name was dragged through the business section. Every deal he touched was under review. His father was being investigated for past frauds. More victims were stepping forward. His mother? Barred from handling any financial accounts. Lauren, his sister, lost her position on the charity board she bragged about for years. They said she no longer represented the values of the organization. They all went quiet after that. No more threats. No more texts. Just silence. A month later, Adam asked to meet. Just once. I agreed. We met at a small coffee shop. Neutral place. In public. He looked like a man who hadn't slept in weeks. He ordered coffee but didn't touch it. He said, I didn't know how far they were going to take it. I stared at him. You were in the video, I said. He nodded. I didn't stop them, he said. I thought you'd just go quietly. I didn't think you'd fight back. That was the truth. He never expected me to fight. He had one more thing to say. I know you won, but you don't have to destroy everything. I leaned forward.
Calm.
You destroyed yourself. Then I stood up, and I walked out. I moved into one of the properties. Not the big one. Just a small place with wide windows and a quiet garden. I planted things. Took long walks. Got a dog. I didn't post anything on social media. I didn't celebrate online. But I celebrated in small ways. I opened a new bank account, fully in my name. I took a trip to the ocean. Alone. I stood barefoot in the sand and let the water hit my legs. I didn't cry. I didn't need to. They took everything they could from me. But I survived. I took it back. And I made sure they felt what I felt. Fear, shame, silence. But I didn't become them. I didn't forge anything. I didn't lie. I told the truth. That was my revenge. And it was enough.